There you go. I'm swimming away. We've got Mena. Shh.
Hello.
Mena in Portugal. Yay.
Jacqueline in Canada. Yay. And you everywhere.
So if you need someone to say yay for you, because this is what it's all about. This is your time. This is your life. Joy helps you heal.
And we're glad that you are here with us. Yes. Ready to celebrate?
Yes.
Ready to enjoy? Ready to go lighter?
Yeah. You just release anything that is bothering you, spit it out, so to speak, because you can't spit anywhere nowadays.
Not in that amount.
Unless it's in a cup, right? So just get it out. Express it out of your body. Release it, release it, release it.
Let it fly, let it fly, let it fly.
And I can feel it. It's it's everybody has a favorite song. And if you can feel whatever rhythm or beat that is for you, then that helps stir your soul and your immune system in a way that brings you more joy, right? Music has been shown in seniors, elderly, long-term homes, right? That they play music of 20, 30 years ago and their vital signs actually change. Isn't that true?
Yes, perfectly. So it's time for you to connect with your body and to connect with your favorite song or music and live it and enjoy it and integrate it in your health. Ooh.
And sometimes I think, well, it's like the idea of belly dancing, and the hula is that they knew, or even drumming circles, right? It's the movement of energy. And females most times wore skirts or circles, because that energy helps to go round.
Yes, in our center. It's our center.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like we have hips for a reason. You might want to use them.
Just balance and get balance.
Right?
Yes. Even Chinese talk about Tantien, that is the center of their body, our body, and it's like this in the second chakra.
Yeah. And what about the fact that, I just had this thought. So what are your thoughts on why many elderly women in the Western world have, or at least in North America, end up having so-called brittle hips, and they fall, right? Their hip gives away. If we had to think about this as the chakra area here, the sacral chakra and the hippie shake, what could they possibly be holding on to that is now needing to be fixed?
No, it's not. It's more about mobility, I think. the sacral chakra is different. It's more about creation and being feminine and being whatever you wish.
Yeah, so maybe there could have been some resentment that there wasn't what they wanted to create in their world or whatever. They 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 stayed quiet, and they played the role that they were supposed to play, but they never really created what they wanted. And so this energy got tight in here, and so we want to wiggle it out.
Yes. It's so good. It's so good.
So good.
Move.
So good. I got you. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
You are pink and energetic, and I am blue and soft in this moment.
Yes, that's it. It's like the other sunshine. You've got sunshine. Come here. I've got sunshine in my pockets, and dun 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 dun.
And how's the weather there?
It's spring. It's the grass is getting greener. The little buds are starting to show up. It's the birds, you go outside and they're chirping away. I've walked my first beach walk with my lovely feet back in the sand, and it's like, oh.
A week ago you had 3 degrees, isn't it? Now it's spring, and here is almost summer. We sweat.
Exactly.
Yes. So awesome. Awesome. So we are gaining more energy. The world is gaining more energy.
Yes.
Yes. More joy, more freedom.
And that energy and that freedom is coming into each one of us, right? We're embodying that presence that we can do anything and be anything, and we can trust that. We're breaking out of the mold of fear, and in all areas of our lives.
Yes. And solutions are coming. Yes. We can focus on solutions. Freedom.
It's not freedom. I'm sure I keep thinking of Philadelphia Freedom. That was Elton John. But I know there's some other freedom songs that are coming. But that's like, if life is working for you, if freedom is what you want, if health is what you want, then to stay on that course is the idea. The vision is still there. It's like if you were to get, well, maybe nowadays this could actually be. You could go and get on an airplane and you think you're going from Lisbon to, let's say, Egypt in Cairo. But you get on the plane and they go, oh, sorry, we have to go to Frankfurt first. And then you get to Frankfurt and they're going to tell you to change. And they go, oh, before we can get there, we got to go to Istanbul. And you still know you're going to get to Cairo. You still believe it. Right? You're still focused on it, even though you're having a detour. And that's how it is sometimes with your health. It may seem you're going in the opposite direction as your body is detoxing and letting go, but you're on your journey to get to Cairo, which is health. Woo!
Because it's not a straight line. It has ups and downs or curves. Okay, but we get it. So you can get it to get there. Yes, so important to focus on all, what we wish and to be grateful for what we have now. Yeah,
Grateful,
because
grateful.
we are trained to see what is not working and to focus on what it's not working, and we stay too much time on what's not working. So it's time to do the opposite. If you wish to have a different result, we must do something different. So try to focus on what's working in this moment for you, and you start to have more of that, more things that are working for you. That's the secret.
Shh, don't tell anybody because people might all get healthy. If everybody got healthy, oh my gosh, wouldn't the world be a different place?
Yes, receive it. Let's receive it. Let's,
Receive it.
yeah, receive our natural right to be healthy and abundant and shiny and lovely and whatever we wish.
Mm-hmm. And just the focus is, as Mena was saying, it's what are you focused on? What's working or what's working? Or what you're grateful for or what you're grateful for. When you realize there's only one way you want to focus. So I can speak for myself because so is Mena, a Libra. And so I used to just want to say, well, you could have A or you could have B. And I would always be, well, it could be this way or it could be that way. And then I was realizing, well, why do I even want to think about this way? Because I really only want this way, right? So if I only want to go this way, why do I keep bringing it this way? So it's like, shh, let's go, like John Travolta and the dancing. Shh, staying alive, staying alive, you know?
And it's easy if you are driving to some place, you look forward, not back, not side. You look forward because you tend to go where you look at. So again, choose well.
Yeah. And if you need a really good body memory of what we're saying, and you are a driver, I want you to get in your car and just focus on the rear view mirror as you put your foot on the gas. How far do you think you're going to go if you're only looking in that little rear view mirror before you hit something? You want to look through the big window, the big vision of where you want to go. It's like how Mena did this example the other day, right? We did it about putting your arm in front and then moving it to the back. And then we closed our eyes and we imagined, she had us imagine that putting the arm up and moving the arm behind us now further. So you can imagine that you've gone further, and now put your arm up again and then move that arm back and you go, wow, it went further.
Try it. That's life. In life, it's like that. Use your imagination for the good, to create the good things you want. Imagination is a tool you have, and many of us use it for bad things. I don't like to say the word bad, but things you don't like, you can consider it bad. So many people are always using imagination to see what if something happens, something awful happens, something that I am afraid happens. What if What if, what if something we don't like happens? What are we attracting or creating? Even if it is only in our mind, it's not what we wish. So, what if something good happens? What if it is awesome for me, for my family? So, yeah, imagine. Well, imagine the things you like. Uh, and maybe
Yeah,
actually,
even some people have um, posted about somebody that they feel has had a death related to the injection, right? And I've said, well, may that person's passing be the signpost for other people, you know, that need to maybe just stop for a moment and know, is this what they're guided to do? Because I don't know if you're to take the V word or not, right? You know, and you know what's best for you. And when you can trust that, that's freedom.
yes.
Right? The worst thing I find for many people is they go along with what somebody else says and they never felt comfortable within themselves. And then when it doesn't work the way they had hoped it would work based on what the other person said, then they blame the other person for telling them what they said. Essentially, responsibility comes back here because I, as the person, believed the other person and I chose to take that action. They never made me. They might have coerced me. They might have, you know, in that sense of you can get a carrot or you can get this if you do that. But ultimately, I was the one that had to decide. So that's why I say is you've got to know within yourself that that's really what you want to do, because then that guilt or shame or blame or judgment and anger and frustration, I'm the only one that's experiencing it because they're not.
And it can be a good choice for that person. Who knows? We are not judging. We are only telling that a good choice for one person may be not so good for another person. And we don't know. Each one of us is different. So let's assume our responsibility of knowing ourselves and what is best for us. And of course, we can try what other people say, but does it serve you? Is it good for you? That only you can say. If it is, okay, go and get it, go and do the same. It is not, there are thousand other ways of doing things, of living. That's like it.
And it's my experience that only when I was attached to a certain one way, not many ways, right? When it had to be this way, right? I had to take that drug or I had to do this and that would be the way. And then I went the other extreme and I was like, no to anything medical, no. And then I realized I was attached to making the medical community sort of wrong, right? And then I had this experience where 2 years ago, I knew I stepped on a rusty nail and I knew I took care of it and I knew my foot was healed. However, the next day I got the thought to go get a tetanus shot. And I was thinking, but I know my foot is good. Like I can feel it. I know my foot is fine. I know it's fine. So, but you still want me to go have this experience. And it was the experience of going and being now calm with the doctor, not making the doctor wrong, but having the experience and saying, I appreciate that you're there. I appreciate what you're telling me. I appreciate that you're giving me an option. And I appreciate that you wanting me to get the pertussis and tetanus vaccine. However, I only need the tetanus vaccine, right? And I could do it in calm and in love and embrace the situation. And then when they injected me, whoa, within 30 seconds, I could feel it go through my arm and up through my neck. And I was like, holy moly. Out of all the other vaccines I ever had, I never noticed anything, right? But in this case, I could just feel it. And I knew that I was sensitive to energy. But to have this experience, and the doctor's like, are you having an adverse reaction? And I'm like, no, I'm completely fine. I'm just completely aware of how this thing is moving through my body, through my bloodstream, right? Like through, and it was an amazing experience. So this is why I say there's never one right answer. Everyone has a guidance to guide them to the experience that they need to have for whatever's going on in their life that they need to experience.
Mm-hmm. It's like a supermarket. We have lots of things in the shelves. And some things are good for me, and some things are good for you, and some things are not so good in this moment because it's not the the kind of cuisine we wished for us today.
Yeah.
And it's no fine. And it's the same with medicine because there are lots of people in lots of levels. So for some of them, it may be precisely what they need to heal because there is not another way at this moment for them. They don't consciously know about other things. It's okay, it's perfect. And for other people, they don't need it anymore because they learn to live in a different way. And there are lots of medicines. There are Occidental medicine, Oriental medicine, shaman medicine, I don't know, energy medicine, lots of medicines. So we can choose when we are able to choose, and that depends on us.
It's like a buffet table.
Yeah.
You go to a party and there's all this food laid out. Well, we have all those choices related to our health and our wealth and our life, and we get to try some and go, no, I've had enough of that one. We go try something else. We go, oh wow, yum, that was so good. I want more of that. Like singing bowls, right? You know, someone was sharing with me the other day. It's like they heard somebody that had zero experience playing the bowls, the crystal bowls, and it sounded kind of like the person, first picking up a violin. You kind of go, oh. But then when you get the person that knows how to let the sound of those crystal bowls or those singing bowls, oh, it's heaven.
Yeah, the same thing. Same thing, different people, different energy, different use. It's not good or bad.
Oh, I'm in heaven. Must be heaven. Cheek to cheek.
So I usually say that medicine are made in heaven too.
Yes.
sometimes, sometimes people say it's hell. It may be. It depends on what you believe. But if you create, if somehow a disease appeared in your life, there is a reason.
Yes.
Maybe you cannot cure it energetically because you are not at that level yet. There is a blockage of energy. Or maybe you start to be open to some other things and the way starts to open too. So when I have a headache, lots of times I take a pill because it's easy for me. I tried other things. And other times I don't need it at all. So it depends on us. It depends on lots of things, and it depends on what you believe.
Yes. I've read many people's stories where, as they've been setting their vision on healing and opening up to healing energy, and they're still taking their prescribed medication continually. And then it's like, then one day they have this very clear thought or feeling within themselves, or sometimes they have boarded a plane to go on a trip and they just seem to forget their medication. And it's like in that moment, something just shifts and they just go, I'll be fine without that today. And then they realize, I am fine with that. And it's that everybody has a right time, everybody has a right moment. There's never one answer for everybody. And that's the part about learning what you feel guided, because everything in this whole entire world has God in it, source consciousness in it. That it has it, whether it's in a big amount or a little amount. It just is that. So what we put into that idea, if we go, ooh, that's no good, is it that that's no good, or is it your thought that that's no good? So if you always look at it that whatever your medication is, I was saying this just to somebody, I said, if you're guided to take your medication, wouldn't it be better to believe that it's working and your organs are going to be fine versus thinking that it's hurting your organs over a long period of time? She's like, yeah, but. And I'm like, well, yeah, let's get rid of the but, right? Let's just start to clear that out and say, yeah, what if I'm taking this medication and it's working for me and all my organs are going to be fine and they're just going to be, like, I'm healing.
Yeah, precisely. And the opposite happens too. For instance, I remember to read about a lady that had some problem in her shoulder, and it was a big problem, and she had to have surgery because of that, because it was not healing. But she knew a doctor that was a hypnotherapist, and he was very good, and she had experienced a lot of times improvement using hypnotherapy. So she went on a consultation. He did hypnosis with her. She saw her arm becoming good and great, and in the next morning she was great, and she went to the surgery, and she was not operated because she was fine. So these things happen too, and sometimes you don't need hypnotherapy. Oriental people do other kinds of things. So it depends. Sometimes we need it. Sometimes maybe we don't. It depends on what you believe and what ways do you choose. And of course, if you believe and if you think it's good to have surgery or medicine, take it. I take it many times. But sometimes I have other means to breathe. I'm not with Jacqueline, like Jacqueline that has gone a long way in this and doesn't take any pills or almost. I take some. And it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
I'm different
that
sometimes.
balance, whatever that alignment within each of us. And it truly is such freedom, right? Because you can know within yourself, thank you. It's like someone offering you something that, let's say you gave up smoking and they didn't know you gave up smoking and they said, here, have a cigarette. And it's like, if you're completely comfortable with your inner strength, your inner choice, you're able to say, no, thank you. And even if they're like, you sure? What happened? Are you smoking? You're like, no, thank you. Right? It's when we're still in that space of, ooh, is it still
Yeah.
right? You go, well, maybe I should take that cigarette just because I won't have to tell them that I'm stopping smoking and get into a discussion, blah, 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 right? Because sometimes you lose friends in a sense, or people that you've been connected with that have been in the same maybe conversation that you have about, I'm going to use the word like victim, but it could be anything, right? It's just the sense of that's your familiar ground. And when you step out of that, you discover something else. I'm reminded of a young doctor I spoke with in Canada, and he said he had to grieve the potential loss of being a doctor and the potential issue if he got stuck with all these student loans, because he felt compelled to speak out that there were a lot of people that weren't getting the health care they needed right now based on the lockdowns. That was his experience. And so he had to grieve in order for him to speak up his truth. He could possibly lose everything that he had worked so hard to get to. After he finished grieving all this and he stepped out, he started to realize that he was well supported, and he met other people and other doctors and other people that were supporting him and encouraging him and being so grateful that he was sharing his experience. He wasn't telling the world what to do. He was just sharing what he noticed as a doctor and what he wanted to make other people aware of, because he was a doctor. So when they say the doctors say, not every doctor says the same thing.
Yes. Because there is not one patient that is the same as other patient. There isn't. And I like to talk about offsets because I like to see different realities and different perspectives too. So I talked about the lady that didn't have to have a surgery because she did a hypnotherapy and she got well. And I can talk just the opposite. A girl that I saw some months ago, that it was an awful thing because she was trying to heal a tumor with with essences and energy, and the tumor advanced so much that she became almost without face, and it was awful. And then she had to go and have surgery, but it was in an awful situation. So I take essences too. I'm not saying uh, essences are not good, but it depends on your energy, on what you believe, lots of things, because sometimes we don't know everything. What's what is the reason for our disease? Sometimes we don't know. Sometimes are deeper things that we don't know yet. And feel your heart, feel what's best for you. Try it, see if it results, see if it's useful for you. That's important. And don't do like this or like this.
Right.
Sometimes we have to try different things and think and understand what's better for us.
Yeah.
Follow your thoughts, follow your intuition, follow, listen to your body, yes, and don't be afraid to follow that
Yes.
and to ask for help.
So important. I a friend of mine who's passed on now, she had been doing meditation and energy work and on the spiritual, like she literally was, you could almost feel like she was an angel in the body. And as she got to be 78, she then started to have some issues going on in her body, and she felt like she was a failure to then feel like she had to go to the doctor. And I kept having to say to her, no, God is in everything. God has created doctors, right? This idea, the same thing, like that I was wanting to make them wrong, to be away from them. That was part of my process to learn. But when we do the same thing, we say, oh, no, I can't do that. The tumor, things grow. It gets worse, right? It depends on what you're guided. So if you're ever like, no, or it must be, that's a clear sign to let go of that. And so once I helped her see that really she had to let go of the judgment of herself in order to go to the hospital, right? Because in a sense, what really happened for her is once she went, it was too big, and this was the end. So this was her coming to peace with the ending of her life, which wasn't the way she thought it would be. And that too is part of the process, is coming to peace with everybody in the situation.
And depends again on what we believe. For instance, I have a mentor, a spiritual mentor that I love, and she never goes to the doctor. She doesn't go. She doesn't need. She doesn't. She only goes when her family, well, pushes her a lot because you must go to the doctor. You must go to the doctor. You never do an examination. Sometimes she's so tired of hearing them that she goes, and everything is well. Always. But she doesn't do that with the dentist. She goes twice a year because she feels she needs to go to the dentist. So it's like that. It's fine.
Yeah. And we just never know if we're taking our past and putting it into the future. In the present, there's infinite possibilities. And so when you can be present and say, what do I need to do right now? You might have a completely different answer. Or you might be, just keep doing what you're doing, right? Could be get yourself to the hospital, get that injection, right? Go on a vacation, go see the physiotherapist, the acupuncturist, the cranial sacral. There's so many things. Go have a retreat, put your feet, go have a bath, grab a hug, just dance.
So many people here in Portugal, at least, in old times, they used to go. People didn't used to make holidays, to have holidays, but they used to go 5 days or a week or 15 days to the, I don't know the name in English. We call it thermal, kind of thermal therapy with water. a place with water or in the mountains or something
Mhm.
where they go and they will heal if their arthritis or whatever, if they're stressed
Yes.
because it were holidays in nature
Yeah.
doing something that people thought it was healing, like drinking water, special water, or having special bath, and it was awesome. It was healing. That's what is important. It was healing.
Yes.
Being in nature is healing.
Nature is so healing, and I think for anybody that's the simplest thing to do when you're feeling maybe uncertain about, is just to step outside and breathe and connect with wherever you are. Even if you're in a city, it's find the garden, find the weed that has broken through the cement, in the sense, and realize that nature is always moving, it's always changing, it's always blooming, more life is always coming. And that's the energy that's working through you at all times.
Mm.
That current, that vibe. And when you can trust it and say, you're being moved to go this way, or you're being told, stay here and receive this, right? You realize you are the center of all the gifts and blessings, and you can be eternally grateful. You can just be grateful, 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 grateful everywhere you look in nature. Every breath you take, you're grateful.
Yes,
Because after all, if we weren't here, well, that would be a bad day.
every breath you take. And if you cannot go to the nature now, in the moment, go to a window, open a window, look at the sky, look at the clouds or the blue sky or whatever, and feel the gratefulness and feel the peace and feel the fresh air and be grateful because everything is awesome in the sky. So everything can be awesome with you. Ah,
Yes. And the sun and the moon are different every single day. Every single day. So there is never one day that is actually the same. It's only your habits and patterns in your mind that you stay with and repeat that are the same. So when you start to say, oh, stop that, I'm going to break that habit, going to do something differently, look out in nature, connect, new thoughts come in, oh, and you can just relax.
because even you are different every day, in every moment. So why should your thoughts be the same and repeat themselves 100 times, 1,000 times? What for?
Right? Like, that's how I feel most times, is when people ask me something about the future, I go, I can put that in my calendar, right? Like when we talk, it's like I can put that in my calendar. I still am okay with if it changes, right? Like I still, whereas before I would get, oh, someone didn't make the appointment, or someone was late, or I was late, there would be so much story about it. But now it's like I'm putting it there and I'm trusting the way life happens. I'm trusting the process.
Yes, yes. I like to plan sometimes. I like to plan the future, yes, but always I give some space for it to be different because who knows, it may be better.
Right? That's true. I mean, maybe I could, I Thank you, because I'm seeing that I'm still feeling like things are breaking down. Yeah, no, I'm still feeling I'm supposed to stay here, but I'm going to stay with that one to notice: am I staying away from making plan in the future because, I can change it. I can see that, so I can put something on the calendar and know that it can change, and that's okay, whether it needs to change or whether it happens. Very good lesson. Thank you, Mena.
Yeah. Because we are not a piece of wood in the water, just like that. We are human. We can choose. We have a mind, and we can choose. Yes, we can choose. So we can, and it's good for us to be in the present and plan the future that we'd love to. It's good for us. Just don't be attached. Don't be attached. It's like the past. It's good to be in the present moment. Yes, but why not to go to the past sometimes to learn with it? Not to stay in the past, but to learn, and then we can stay here. So it's very important. We live in the now, but we can learn with the past, and we can program our future. Not staying too long in the past and not staying too long in the future because we don't own them. But we can say what we like to.
Yes. And yes. Yes. Because the future is now. And the past is now.
No.
Everything's now. So what we're deciding now is the vision now for what we want in the future, but it's now. And so you can claim it and say, this is what I'm going to do now on this date. And then as that approaches, you'll know in the now if you have to do anything differently.
Yes. Well, that's what I was talking in the beginning. You want to go in some direction. You look forward. You look forward, but you can choose direction where you want to go. Of course, don't be too fixed. Maybe the world has something better than you think. So don't be attached. But if you have five directions to go, maybe you prefer one or two of them. So focus on that, and then you see. I program my holidays. Yes, of course. Sometimes I change them, but I say I like this and this and this. It's not good. It's not bad, but I choose my direction. Then sometimes I have to adapt. Sometimes I choose to adapt, and it's okay too.
Yeah, and that's essentially like last year when I had a one-way ticket in Costa Rica, and I was thinking, well, maybe I'm gonna head to Australia. Like maybe I'll be in Central America. I didn't feel like didn't have one clear vision, but since it was a one-way ticket I was guided to get, I was feeling like I wasn't coming back to Canada. But then it was like a few weeks later, it was like, no, you're coming back almost immediately. And it was like, oh, wonder what's going to happen. So I was ahead of the curve of everybody else, rushing off to get on a plane to return. So it's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yay. Are you feeling that you've been revived, renewed? You're feeling that sense of woo-woo in your body?
I do. I hope you do. Who you you are watching. Who are watching us? I hope you do too.
Yes. So we leave you with that because it works for us.
And this hour is like a holiday. we
Yes.
get we give to us. It's a holiday. Holiday time.
Yes.
Time
Pause.
for a break. Time for a healthy break.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us.